Alrighty, good morning everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Today is July the 1st. So today we have a brand new month, also a brand new quarter as well. Happy Canada's Day if anyone lives in Canada. A lot of things to kind of go over today. We have Tesla dropping. We had some news in the pre-market. We also had news on Apple yesterday. As for the actual overall indices themselves, not too much going on yesterday. We ended up holding your previous day highs, just a lot of consolidation, and then a move later into the session with that Apple news. So before we head on to that, at least for the Red Folder News event today, we do have some Red Folder News at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be Fed Chair Powell speaking. So he's speaking as soon as market opens. We do also have ISM here as well. That's going to be at 10 a.m. So basically packed with Red Folder News coming to market open and also 30 minutes after market open as well. And then we also have right tomorrow, we have ADP non-farm enrollment. That's going to be really big. And then of course on Thursday, we actually have a half day on Thursday with ISM and then also some news at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Friday, we have a day off. So half day Thursday, day off Friday. It's a holiday. So really this week, just packed with kind of Red Folder News. We'll see what kind of shapes up in the overall market before we head on to the charts. What's up, everyone? Good morning. Good morning, JD. Appreciate those words. What's up, Jeff, KO, Daniel, Cuba, Non-Tolly. What's up, Paul? Good morning, JT, Kai. Apple, yeah, I caught a piece of it yesterday. Apple ended up moving nicely, those contracts. Martin, Papa, Josh, Audrey, Monty, Abe, what's up, Ryan, Wayne, and Joseph, Yate, Yogi, Darth. Good morning. What's up, Paul? I'll check a gold here in a bit. Fan, good morning, Teddy, Vincent, what's up, Ashley, Andreas, Michael, Kels, KO, what's up, Ricardo, Denise, or Dennis, Kels, yes, Asina, Edison, Kuta. All right. About the indicators, well, yeah, we'll have some more updates. If you are in the accelerator or in Traders Lab, we'll have updates by the end of the week. For everyone else, probably have updates in a few weeks. Okay, let's go on to the ES and NQ and we'll get started here. So for the ES, as you can see, we're still fairly bullish. We're above your last week's highs, which is your Friday's highs. You can see the overall market, we're kind of just defending this general area. Clearly, I guess my drawing tools aren't working, but we're defending this area, which is your 6236. So this is the level that we have here on the higher time frame. So every major indice has hit all-time highs. We have SPY hit all-time highs, Q's hit all-time highs, NQ hit all-time highs. The last one to hit all-time highs is going to be the ES. So coming into kind of this week and moving forward, what we'll be looking for eventually is the ES all-time highs. As for now, the key level that we're just going to have marked out is going to be this 6237. So this is the level coming into today, or Friday's high, multiple touches. Yesterday, you can see we actually broke underneath this level, but we ended up reclaiming and the QQQ ended up holding your previous day highs. And then we ended up just gravitating back up and towards your pre-market highs, was not able to close above that level. And then now you can see we're just consolidating. So coming into today, what we like to see is really the markets maintain above this 6236. If you can maintain above this level, I like to see this continue push back up and towards your pre-market highs from yesterday and above. If the markets do want to stay heavy, potentially get back underneath your 6236, there's a possibility we could gravitate back down in towards our previous day lows in this gap that we created over the weekend, which is down in towards the 6220 here on the ES. If you go into the SPY chart, I think we can see this a little bit better here on the SPY, but key levels that we have marked out is our 616. That is our Friday's high. That is a very key pivot level for the SPY. You can see yesterday, we actually did come fill its gap We had some news here with Apple, so you can see pretty big wick to both sides, but key level is our 615. We actually did fill the gap here on the SPY chart. For the ES, there's still a little bit of a gap to be left unfilled. So for the SPY coming into today, similar thesis to the ES. What I would like to see is it maintain this 616.50. If we can do that, I'd like to see it push back up and towards your 617. As for some more downside, if we do get back underneath your 616, next levels is going to be your previous day lows. So coming into today, we do have some red folder news, as I mentioned, that is going to be at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, along with Jolt's opening. We are about to open up right inside the range. So at least for the first 15 to 30 minutes, we will let the market play out just because we have red folder news right off the bat. Plus, we have some red folder news at 10 o'clock. So we'll see what shapes up within the first 15 to 30 minutes of market open. Key levels we do have marked out, as I mentioned, is going to be this 616.35. As for the NQ key levels that we have marked out, number one, we have your all-time high. So you can see the reason why we're having a little bit of reaction here on the overall market is because we really had a rally straight up and towards your all-time high. So the NQ, we basically went up for about a week straight right in towards a key level, which is your all-time highs here, your 22,800 essentially. And you can see this is where the first sign of essentially sellers are stepping in. This doesn't mean we're going to have a full-blown reversal, but you can see sellers are stepping in above your all-time highs. And this is the area that some people are looking to sell and take profit. So that's your key level that we have marked out for the NQ. We just have your 22,870. If we go back onto lower time frames now, so this is going to be the key level moving forward. So we actually have two key levels for the NQ. We have our 22,870. We also have your Friday's highs as well, which is our 22,820. So as long as we're above our 22,820, I like to see the market gravitate back towards all-time highs. But the real level for me that I like to see reclaim and hold is going to be above your previous all-time highs, which is your 22,870 on the NQ. If we can hold above this level and close, if we can close above this level and hold, I like to see this push back up and towards your previous day highs and above now, which is going to be your all-time high. So this is going to be the key level for me, 22,870. Now, if we break back underneath your Friday's highs, hold underneath next levels, previous day lows, and we do have this gap that we created here over the weekend. If we look at the QQQ, similar thesis that we have played out on the Qs coming into today. What I would like to see is the hold of your 550. So your 550 in this case is your Friday's highs. If we're able to maintain above your 550s, I like to see it kind of consolidate and push back up and towards your 552. That's going to be the key level for me. So far, the momentum is starting to slow down here on the overall markets. If we do break back underneath your 550, there's a potential that we could see your previous day lows in this gap that we created, 548.50 here on the QQQ. So similar thesis to the Qs. Along with the SPY today, key level is still going to be your Friday's highs. With the QQQ, similar thing, 550 Friday's highs here as well. That's going to be the key inflection point coming to market open with the news that we do have as well. So we'll keep an eye out on your 550 here on the Qs coming to market open. Now let's go on to some of the tech names that we have. Tesla. Let's hop onto this chart. Let's see. Sorry, you guys did not have audio? It should be working. Imagine I was talking the whole time and I didn't have audio. Yeah, it should be good. If you don't have audio, you can always reset it. Okay, so for Tesla, this one had news in the morning. So we had news. We actually, let me see if I can pull this up. So we have Trump. I guess I can't pull it up, but Trump kind of tweeted. We also had some other news here as well, but let me actually see this. Let me see if I can pull this up. I just clicked kind of on the TradingView news really quickly, but Tesla stock falls as Trump Musk feuds escalates, where it goes. But basically, Trump was just kind of tweeting, and now you can see, right, price is pushing down. So let's go into the higher time frames here for Tesla. We kind of talked about Tesla the past week. overall markets are moving higher. So you can see Tesla really hasn't done too much in the past month, whereas the overall market, if I was to pull up a chart right beside it, you can see the QQQ in the past month is basically at all-time highs. So if you compared the past really 20 to 40 sessions here on the QQQ versus Tesla, you can see Qs, I would consider, QQQ on the right hand side, I would consider very bullish because we had a very nice rally towards the upside. Whereas Tesla, I would consider a little bit more neutral, leaning a little bit more towards the downside, just because the overall market's pushing higher, whereas Tesla is not moving and it's actually heading lower. So for Tesla, this is a sign of relative weakness, at least on the higher time frames. Now we're actually breaking underneath key levels. So for Tesla, the levels that we have marked out yesterday was our 333 down in towards our 312. We even had a little bit of a tighter range here for Tesla as well. And now you can see we're breaking underneath our 312 here on the higher time frames. Sorry. So this is the key level here for Tesla. So we're breaking underneath your 312 here on the higher time frames. Now the next key levels, we can go back onto the daily time frame, is going to be all the way back down in towards your 280s. So your 280s, and we have other levels marked out here as well. If we go into the 1 hour chart, we can mark out a few other names and a few other levels here as well, which is going to be this 293, and we can also mark out this 305. So coming into today here for Tesla, the levels that I do have marked out, we have our 305, we have our 293, and all the way down in towards our 280. What we'd like to see here for Tesla, really now after this pretty big gap down. So we're down about 5.8% here coming into market open, a pretty big gap down with news. What we would like to see is the reaction that we have off of your pre-market highs, number one, which is going to be this 305. And then we can also mark out our 300 key psych level here as well. So we have a few areas that I'd be interested in Tesla potential continuation lower today. Number one would be really off this 305. That's going to be your lowest risk. If price can come back up and towards your 305, maintain underneath these pre-market highs, I'll be somewhat interested in looking for a continuation lower. Another possible scenario is going to be this 300 key psych and your original pre-market lows. That's also another scenario that we could be looking for, continuation on Tesla. This name does have room down in towards your 293 and below. So we'll keep an eye out on this one just because the market is slowing down here now. Plus Tesla is the one that does have the most relative weakness. So generally speaking, if this one does want to continue lower, or any sort of name wants to continue lower, it should be Tesla lower towards the downside. It does have a little bit of divergence, but key levels that we have marked out is going to be this 305 along with this 300 key psych level, which is your opening right at 4 o'clock. So we'll keep an eye out on these levels coming into today. What I'll be interested, as I mentioned, is just any sort of pops. We'll see if these pops get faded coming into market open. As for NVIDIA and the semiconductors, so these ones slowing down just a little bit here as well. Higher time frame key levels that we have marked out was our last week's high. So we had Friday's highs marked out. We're just unable to get above Friday's highs yesterday. So no real setup here on NVIDIA. The setup was above your Friday's highs for continuation. This one was not able to get above this 158. We can actually refine this level here as well, now in towards your 158.50. As for other levels here on NVIDIA, what I do have marked out is going to be all the way back down in towards this level, which is our 154. So that's a key level. We can also have marked out your previous day highs here, previous day lows here as well. So for NVIDIA, higher time frame still very much intact, right? Higher lows are being built on the 1 hour chart as well. Key level that I like to see hold as long as it maintains above your 154. So what I like to see, at least coming to today here for NVIDIA, along with the overall market, you can see Qs, a little bit more weakness now coming to market open here as well. What I like to see on NVIDIA is one of two things. One of two things is going to be the hold of your previous day lows. If you could hold your previous day lows, potentially we could be looking for a reversal setup back up and towards your previous day highs and above. Another scenario is if we break underneath your previous day lows. Let me just mark out this level. So we can mark out this level from Thursday of last week, and also kind of lines up with your previous day lows. So these are the levels we can have marked out. Let me actually just trade this. we have this level. So 156.50. So I'd like to see either this level hold 156.50 for this pushback up and towards the highs, or a potential pullback. It's going to be all the way back down in towards our 155. I'd also be interested in this potential bounce here as well. So for Nvidia, we're either going to be looking for the hold of your previous day lows or the dip add all the way back down in towards our 155 on the higher time frames. As for AMD, similar kind of thesis. AMD is a little bit weaker than NVIDIA, so I'd much rather look for the NVIDIA bounce than AMD. As for AMD, the levels that we had drawn out, which was our consolidation from the past couple of days, 146 here, all the way down in towards our 142. You can see that AMD ended up breaking underneath your key levels here actually in the pre-market. So not as bullish on AMD. Now I'd much rather wait for the reclaim back above your 142 if I'm going to look to trade this one. So key levels for AMD now is our 142. We can also mark out it's just going to be our old highs and old lows from last week. So we can mark out these levels. I'm not too interested in trading the bounce here on AMD, but if you do, right, the key levels you can have marked out is going to be this 138. And you can also mark out your Wednesday's low here as well. So this is really the level you like to see hold. As for the reclaim, it's going to be back above your 142, which is your multiple touches, as you can see here. Previous day lows, and you have multiple touches. As for, let's actually just quickly go into the SMH just to give us a little bit more context. But SMH, very close to all-time highs, so we're still very bullish here on the semiconductors. Key levels for the SMH is going to be your last week's highs, 280. And now what we can also have marked out here as well, you would like to see hold of this 275. So 275 key. As for SMH, really, we'd like to see it above your 280 and then your 280.50, which is going to push this all the way back up in towards your all-time highs, 283. So that's at least for the SMH. Let's go on to a few other tickers here. Let's go into Apple. So Apple, this one had news yesterday. So let's first talk about the news that we did have. As you can see, let me scroll down here. Basically, the news on Apple was with the Siri and whatnot, Apple potentially using outside sources for its AI. So you can see really bullish news kind of off this. Let me actually just refine some of the levels I have here as well. But for Apple, essentially, we've just been consolidating for the better part of the last couple of weeks. Yesterday was the first day we had a lot of volume, and that was like a 10 point, or it was about a 5 point pop on the underlying within a very short period amount of time. So for Apple, what we do have here on the higher time frames is this kind of wedge pattern. So we were forming this and we're mentioning a lot of built up liquidity. All we kind of needed was some sort of potential news event in the markets. We ended up having this nice pop yesterday at the end of the day. So for Apple coming into market open, right, with this being, with this in mind, right, we have news, we have a lot of liquidity being built up. The overall market is slowing down while Apple is moving higher now. But for Apple, the key levels today is going to be this 206. So this 206 is a key level here on the higher time frames. What I'd like to see is now the hold above your 206 for any sort of continuation back towards the upside. So you can see yesterday, we ended up closing back underneath this level, but coming to market open, any sort of pullback, right? If we can reclaim back above this 206, this is going to look good for a continuation towards the upside. So for Apple, there's two scenarios coming into today. What I would like to see is the hold above your 206.25. You can see coming to today, right? Even in the pre-market, we're holding this general area, right? If we can maintain above your 206.50s, I like to see this continue back up and towards your previous day highs and above. If we break back underneath your 206, but later into the session, we look for the reclaim. This is going to look super solid as well for a push back up and towards your previous day highs and above. So we'll keep an eye out on Apple coming into today. This one just had news. Higher time frame is breaking out here as well. The levels that we can have marked out is going to be your previous day highs, and we can mark out levels all the way back from the left, which is going to be towards our 210. So a couple levels we're just going to mark out now is going to be our levels, or sorry, daily highs back from May. So these are the levels we can have marked out on Apple. Another possible scenario is that if it breaks underneath 206, so the 206 is my key basically point of interest. If it breaks underneath and rejects this level, then it's just going to come right back towards your pre-market lows and below. That's why for any sort of longs, it's going to have to hold above your 206 for continuation back towards the upside. That's going to be your key point of interest coming to market open, 206.25. As for a few other names, Microsoft kind of consolidating here, not too much to talk about. As for Meta, this one hit all-time high. So I already hit my main objective, 740. And you can see we also filled the gap yesterday here as well. So not too much to talk about on Meta. Key level, we have marked out 740.80 all-time highs, and we had your previous high from Friday that we end up filling. So for Meta, if you do want to see any sort of upside, now it's going to be the reclaim back above our 740.80, which is our previous all-time highs that we have marked out. So we just mark out this general area. Once again, for Meta, it's going to be the reclaim and hold above your 742 for this pushback up towards the upside. So that's going to be your key level. As for Google, this one ended up having a nice breakout, was not able to hold above your 181. You can see the higher time frames, still very much bullish on this one. It's slowing down just a little bit, but higher lows are being built. What I would like to see is really the close above. It's going to be your 180 here on the daily time frame. If you look at Google, if we turn back on the drawings here as well, let me actually get rid of a few things. Actually, these drawings are good. See, these levels are still valid. So for Google, really what I would like to see is the hold of your 175. 175 is the area that we ended up breaking out from. So this is the area I'd like to see hold, reclaim back above your 178 for this continued push back towards the upside. What I would like to see form here on Google is this potential kind of cup and handle. Right, I'd like to see a hold of your 175 for this continued push back towards your 180s and above. As for Amazon, so for Amazon, key levels that we have marked out, 225 yesterday was just unable to hold above your Friday's high. So that was a key level for me coming into yesterday. It was your 223 Friday's highs. No buyer stepped in off your Friday's highs, and price just kind of sold off right back into the area that we kind of broke out from. So for Amazon, not too much to talk about on this name now. What I would like to see at least is the hold of your 218. This is the breakout level here on the daily time frame. So you can see nice breakout here. As long as you maintain above your 218 on the daily time frame, this is the level I like to see hold here for Amazon. So you can see multiple touches, previous resistance now turning into support. This is also your higher low key level here as well. So 218 is the level, at least on the higher time frames, I like to see hold for this continued push back towards the upside. So that's what we have for Amazon. 218 higher time frame key point of interest. I already went over AMD. As for Netflix, this one's just going to continue higher. Every dip so far has been bought up, and you just want to mark out your previous day highs on this ticker. So at least coming to market open, it seems like the Qs is pushing a little bit lower here now. It is going to push back down in towards our gap fill from over the weekend. So we'll see what happens coming into market open. As I mentioned, we do have Jerome Powell speaking at 9:30, and we also do have some news at 10 a.m. here as well. So for anything, we're now actually going to have two gaps. We're going to have two gaps coming to today. We're going to have this gap that we created over the weekend, and we're also going to have this gap up from its previous day close. So we're going to have two gaps on the major indices. We'll see the reaction that we have off your previous day lows here on the Qs. And then for SPY, we're getting back underneath your 616.50 here as well, which is your Friday's highs. As for some of my main watches, it's going to be Tesla just because this one has news. Apple also has news as well. So we'll keep an eye on both Tesla and Apple, just because there's going to be volatility on these names with the news that we do have as well. At least for the semiconductors, these ones are slowing down just a little bit. So going to focus more attention here on the names that do have a little bit more volatility, at least for NVIDIA. If we can get major pullbacks down towards our 154, that's going to be the next dip area for me to look for. And then for other names, Meta already hit all-time highs. Google pulling back here. Amazon potential interest off your 218. But really today, at least for day trades, we're going to focus in on Apple and Tesla. Okay. Now, if you guys do have any charts or any tickers you'd like me to go over, you guys can drop them in the chat. If you guys haven't joined the watch list, free watch list below, if some people are new, that's in the description. If you guys are enjoying this so far, I appreciate if you guys drop me a like and sub. All right. What's up, everyone? Good morning. Let's see. Happy Canada's Day. Yes, you as well. Is Hood going to continue pumping? Yeah. Hood, absolutely beautiful. I talked about this yesterday. We're at all-time highs. If you can get above 85, I mean, we have clear skies. Clear skies all the way up, honestly, to 100. Was I expecting this big of a push yesterday? This was the biggest day here on Hood with the most amount of volume. Very close to your 100 key psych, up almost 14% yesterday. So absolutely beautiful. Long terms are looking nice, but Hood 100 really is your next key psych level. We'll see what happens, but most volume, biggest day. If I had volume pulled up here, biggest day here on Hood. Most volume traded on the overall market yesterday as well. At least for Hood, key levels now we're just gonna have marked out previous day highs, and then we're also gonna mark out now it's gonna be your pre-market highs. We can also have other levels marked out as well. At least let me actually just mark out levels. So coming into today, key levels, we're going to mark out your previous day highs, and then you're just going to mark out now it's going to be your pre-market highs, 97.60s. So those are the key levels that we have marked out on Hood. At least for higher time frames, really your key level support is going to be this 85. 85 is your previous all-time highs. Also, we have multiple touches, and this is kind of your breakout level here. So for Hood, I personally like to see the hold of your previous day highs and push higher, or the break above your pre-market high for a push above 100. I would like to see day two continuation on this one. After a really big push higher, I like to see day two continuation hold of your previous day highs for a push back towards the upside. AMD rejected off 144, shorted at 2-minute candle after breaking recent previous day lows. Can you please check? Yeah, this one looks good. Maybe earlier into the session, previous day lows, that would have been solid. It's working. Let's see, Google, can your strategy work on Forex and futures? Yes, primarily. It's just marking out key levels, so it works on all instruments and asset classes. The timing is going to be a little bit different. Some things you look for is going to be different as well when comparing relative strength. But overall, the break and retest is just a system. We do have a lot of setups within the break and retest. As for actually my YouTube video tomorrow, it's going to recap basically my last month's trading performance and going over some major trades, kind of some statistics, and then of course some live trading examples, basically the strategy that I used. So that's going to be a good video that's coming out tomorrow. Okay, let's see this. Is Tesla the safest bet towards the downside? Tesla already has. It's a little bit overextended, but we'll just mark out key levels on Tesla. It is kind of diverging from the market. So lately, if Tesla goes up, usually the market goes down. And then when the market goes down, Tesla kind of does the opposite, which market kind of goes up. Sometimes Tesla is like that when, especially if it does have no clear higher time frames, sometimes it does diverge from the market. At least for Marvel, this one has clear levels back up and towards our gap fill, being our 85.20. What I would like to see now is a hold of your 75. So 75 is going to be key. This level, you can see there's multiple touches around this general area. This level, once we reclaim, we had a nice push higher. So for Marvel, we like to see the hold now. It's going to be this 75, kind of higher low pivot point for this continued push back up and towards your 80 here and above. So key level we have marked out. We could actually mark out another key level here as well. So we like to see one of two things. One thing is either going to be the hold of your 75, or it's going to be now the reclaim back above your 78. IWM. Yeah, IWM key level is going to be this 214, multiple touches. Also your last week's key pivot level here as well. We would like to see the hold of your 215 maintain for this continued push higher. If we do break underneath this level, next levels is just back inside your 215 along with your 212. Palantir. As for Palantir, key level 136, that's the level I'd like to see hold yesterday. I wanted to see kind of the hold and push towards the upside. We end up getting this nice hold of your 136, but just was not able to close back above your opening ranges and your pre-market highs. And now this one's just consolidating just a little bit more. We were expecting an inside bar day. But now you can just see a lot more consolidation after your big drop that we did have here on Friday. So inside bar day for Palantir. Now we can mark out previous day highs, mark out your previous day lows here as well. If we just maintain your previous day's range, why is, I guess my thing's broken. But yeah, for Palantir, key levels that we're going to have marked out is just going to be previous day highs, previous day lows. If we maintain inside the range, we can expect a little bit more consolidation. If we break underneath your previous day lows, potential room down in towards our 130 here on the higher time frames. I did on Palantir Marvel strategy, worked on that one. High for the Forex New York session, which 15-minute opening range break should I look for? It's just a New York session. So if you're on the 15-minute time frame, there's only one candle. It's just your first 15-minute candle of New York session open. Drop a Litecoin. Did I trade anything? I didn't trade anything during the New York session. I didn't really see anything. I actually did come back later for just a scalp on Apple, but yesterday there wasn't really too much on the overall market besides it was, I forget what it was right out. Yeah, there wasn't really too much on the overall markets yesterday. Just a lot of consolidation. Semis kind of slowed down as well. The only thing later was kind of this Apple news event, and we'll keep an eye on Apple today here as well. SMCI. SMCI, this one's breaking outside of its higher time frames. What you would like to see on SMCI now is a hold above our 47 here on the higher time frame. So for SMCI key levels, we have marked out 47. We also have our 47.80s here. What we would like to see, just maintain above these general areas for this continuation back towards your 50 here and above. Not sure why my drawing tool is not working, but that's fine. As for SoFi, so SoFi, nice push right in towards our key level. This is the exact level, 1843. You can see multiple touches off this level. And now, right, anyone that is looking to take some profits is going to take profits right here on SoFi. This is your key level. I really don't like how my drawing tool is not working, but key level for SoFi is our 1840. This is not your all-time highs, but this is a very key pivot level from earlier of the year. From earlier, which was February, everyone's going to be looking to take profits. If you bought here or anywhere down here, right, this is your first take profit, 1840 here on SoFi. So it's a very key level. Now you can see a little bit of reaction off this general area. I do expect this one to have a little bit of a pullback. Next long position that is going to occur is going to be above your 1840. Hold above your 1840 for the next continuation higher. Let me scroll down here as well. Palantir, HIMS, Coin. Yeah, let me take a look at some of these other names. So for HIMS, this one's kind of slowly pushing back towards the highs here. This is your lows that we broke down from. So your support now kind of turning into resistance here on HIMS. The next levels we like to see get above for continuation higher is going to be above your 5150. So that's going to be your key level. As for, yeah, that's going to be your long side. 5150 potential dip pad is going to be all the way back down in towards our 46, which is the area that we broke out from. Multiple touches here as well on HIMS. Deeper dive on NQ. Let me go on Coin. As for Coin, this one's pulling back just a little bit here, breaking underneath. So losing a little bit of momentum. 350s is our key level. So we're breaking underneath our 350. Now what we can expect is potential kind of head and shoulders. You can see what's kind of playing out here on the overall market. So really the key level 350, that's going to be the level we have to see reclaim if you want to see coin push back higher. If we maintain now underneath your 348, next levels towards the downside, really going to be this level of consolidation and potentially all the way back down in towards that 320 here on coin. Answered that one. Yeah, please don't spam the chat. How do you hold winners? Long, I always cut winners way too soon. Thanks for everything. Learned so much by taking partials. So if you can hold on to winners by taking partials, locking in profits, it's going to be very hard to hold onto a full position. But if you can hold 20%, or if you can hold trailers, right? Sometimes those trailers are going to make more than your original position. So that's why I always want to lock in. Maybe if you sell your trailers, that's something completely different, but you got to understand why you're not holding, right? Are you already hitting your targets? Maybe are you selling before your profit target, right? There's a difference between selling before your profit target and selling at your profit target. So there's always kind of different things you have to ask yourself, but at least for holding on winners, usually it just has to do with either you're trading with too much size, you're not locking in profits, or you're just not understanding, right? Is there some sort of higher time frame thesis in play? What do you think about using order flow like footprint? Yeah, I know some people do it. I personally don't. But I know a lot of people used. It just depends on what confluence is, right? I can use relative strength and weakness. Some people use the footprint. Some people look at level two time in sales. It all it all has to do with whatever confluences you like. Okay. Let me go on some other names. Gold, Google, went on to Google. I think I already went over Google. As for gold, so yeah, gold reclaiming key levels. Let me actually just remove a bunch of things here. But gold holding higher lows, I'm very bullish on gold. I like to see eventually it's going to be your all-time highs get taken out. So for this name, key levels that we have, if I remove some levels here, all I have here on Google is our 32 basically 90s, multiple touches. Let me actually reset my keyboard. Yeah, I guess it just doesn't work. But 3290s here on Google, reclaim above this level. We end up pushing higher. Now we're reclaiming back above our 3340s. So what we like to see here on gold, if you do want to see continuation, it's going to be the hold of our 3340s for continuation higher. If we're looking at this from a daily time frame perspective, right, higher lows are being built, right? The past 20, 40 sessions, I'll consider fairly neutral. But if we just zoom out here on gold, this one's very bullish. This one, there's a very good chance, right, after having this breakout all the way back from earlier this year, right, this one's going to make a new all-time highs. Higher lows, market structure is still very much intact. All-time highs is eventually in play here for gold. Already stop. Most likely Google or reviewed. Yeah. Let's see. Are you tempted to trade Tesla pre-market like today? Yeah, we'll keep an eye on Tesla after this big gap down on the overall markets, right? 300 key psych is going to be our key point of interest. You can see so far we're already rejecting it. It's already down 6%. So I'm not too interested in chasing Tesla towards the downside, but if it does present an opportunity of consolidation or maybe even the 305, right, we'll be interested in looking for a potential Tesla continuation lower. But I'm going to be cautious on this one. I do like Apple a lot better than Tesla just because, right, Apple, a lot more consolidation. 206, we can have a move up and towards your 208 and potentially 2010. I'm going to be focused more on Apple, but if Apple doesn't set up, I'll always keep an eye out on Tesla. But Apple's going to be the main one coming into market open. What's your take on the market in July since almost everything's at all-time highs based on historical data? July is generally a green month, new all-time highs. Yeah, so we're already at all-time highs. So now with SPY and Qs, we're hitting all-time highs. SPY hit all-time highs as well. NQ just hit all-time highs. So I do expect a reaction. So now we're getting kind of this reaction that we're expecting. ES is very close to all-time highs, but so far, right, NQ having the reaction off your all-time highs, which is your 22,800. I do expect any sort of dip to gravitate towards the upside. So for the overall market, right, all these dips now are just going to get bought up, right? So we already had this huge push towards the upside. Any sort of dip that we get on the general market, we're going to gravitate higher for the last one, which is going to be ES all-time highs. So after the ES hits all-time highs, that's when I do expect a lot of nice moves to happen for the overall market. That's when most people are going to look to take kind of profits here as well, is finally when we do get that ES all-time high. So all dips, similar game plan to similar game plan to June is we're going to be looking for major dips on the market to just gravitate back towards the upside. As long as the market still stay intact, right, we are expecting it to gravitate towards the highs. Right, every dip so far has been bought up. The market structure is still intact. Nothing's really changed unless we have crazy sort of news event in the market that's going to affect it. Besides that, we're just going to look for all dips to go long. Let's see. Appreciate M2K. Let's see. Yeah, I guess there's not too many charts today, so I will go over most likely my game plan, and then I will call it a day and get ready for market open. Question is how often how do you avoid losing holding losers and hold of hope? How often do I get stuck in that situation? Yeah, so in that case, you're just not you just don't have like a system and setup. If you're just buying and if it hits your stop and now you're just holding, hoping it comes back, that's not long-term sustainable, right? You don't want to build up bad habits. You want to follow your plan because let's say if it even does come back, right? What's stopping you from now making the same thing over and over again? And eventually, all it takes is just one trade where you just hold on to it, and then it's going to go to whatever. You don't have a stop loss, and then you just lose your account just on one trade. So you have to build up the discipline. You have to follow your plan. That's the key thing. Whatever your plan is you want to follow it. If your plan is to not follow your rules, not hold your stop, then you're doing something right. If your plan was to cut at your point of invalidation, you have your risk amount, right? That's where you should cut it. In this case, you can always have a hard stop. Maybe if you're trading options, a little bit more discretionary, it takes more discipline. But if you're trading stocks or trading futures, have a hard stop, especially if you're less disciplined at the very start, right? You can have a hard stop, which makes it a lot easier because it's not based off of you, it's based off of the chart, and you have less emotions and less discretion involved. Let's see. Okay. At least for today, similar thing. We're just going to mark out key levels 550. Your Friday's highs is going to be key here for the SPY and the Q. So far, you can see a little bit of reaction here in the pre-market. We'll just see what comes up into market open. As I mentioned, we do have red folder news at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with Jerome Powell speaking, along with the JOLTS opening in ISM manufacturing. That's going to be at 10 a.m. So pretty busy morning here on the overall markets. So we'll just wait to see what happens with the first 15 to 30 minutes. As for my top watches today, it is going to be Apple. This one does have news. Had news yesterday. We're above key levels, breaking out of your higher time frame potential wedge pattern here. So we can expect a day two continuation after consolidating for a very long time. So what I would like to see now here on Apple, actually showing a lot of strength here. If we can retest your 206, that would be awesome for a continuation higher. It does seem like it has a lot of strength. So another potential scenario above your previous day highs, which is going to be your 207 here for Apple. So two levels marked out. Previous day highs and this 206. As long as we maintain above 206, I like to see continuation back towards the upside here on Apple. As for another watch, we'll keep an eye on Tesla. This one also did have news as well in the pre-market. So for Tesla key levels is going to be this 305 along with this 300 key psych level. I'm not as inclined to look for Tesla just because we have such a big gap towards the downside, down about 6%, whereas Apple, we're just right around your previous day high. So this one, not as big of a gap. Plus, I do like to set up a little bit better here on Apple just towards the upside. So we'll keep an eye on Apple. Without this huge gap in the markets, generally speaking, whenever you have such a big gap, it makes it for a little bit of a harder trading session. As for the semiconductors, these ones are slowing down, so not as focused on the semis this week. Key levels are still intact on the semis. We do have your 150, 450, and we also do have your 150, 650 for potential reclaim or the bounce off your 154. You can see AMD slowing down here as well, breaking back underneath key levels 142. So semis are slowing down. We'll focus on Tesla and AMD. As for Amazon, I do like this one here as well. Potential break and retest on the 1 hour chart. We do have Prime Week coming up soon. So I like to see kind of the hold of your 218 previous resistance now turning into support. As for a few other names, really that's about it. So I'm just going to focus in kind of today on Tesla, primarily Apple. And then we'll keep an eye out on kind of Amazon, maybe higher time frame, 1 hour break and retest. Besides that, we'll just have alerts set for AMD and NVIDIA. If these can reclaim key levels, then we'll also be interested in these ones as well. So that's kind of it for today. We'll just see what kind of shapes up. It is a short week, so not expecting too much. You can see yesterday's price action compared to last week after hitting all-time highs as well. Short week today. We have a bunch of news. We have Thursday, half day Thursday, and then Friday we do have that holiday as well. So we'll see what kind of shapes up on the overall markets. Let's see if there's any questions here as well. Should we wait to buy the dip on Hood? Yeah, don't buy Hood now, right? Hood was also in play as well. This one, most volume yesterday. You want to keep an eye on Hood. Previous day highs is going to be your key level 94. If you're looking to buy Hood, look where you're buying now, right? It doesn't make too much sense if you're buying at all-time highs, right? Yes, is this going to go higher? Most likely it's going to head higher, but this is not an area where you want to be buying, right? All the way up at this 95. There's plenty of opportunities even back here for a move towards all-time highs, right? Still lower risk and you had clear objectives. Now you're at all-time highs. You really want to be cautious, right? Everyone's looking to take profits at least up and towards this 100 key psych. So key levels, right? Now it's going to be your 95 pre-market high. Sorry, it's going to be your 97 and then 100 key psych, and you have levels above. Didn't Scarface say exit off candle closure and not where your original stop loss is? So that's the candle closures it's your point of invalidation. So wherever your point of invalidation is where you cut your position. That could be a mental stop, that can be a hard stop. Wherever the point of invalidation is where you cut your position. So if your point of invalidation is here and price comes all the way back down, right, you end up cutting your position. Let's say, for example, you have a hard stop or you have a mental stop, right? They're both the exact same thing. It's just where your point of invalidation is. And if it hits your point of invalidation, you cut your position. As for the candle close, right, it's all dependent on where your stop is and where your point of invalidation. If you're trading futures and Forex, I'd recommend having a hard stop. As for options, right, options is primarily based off the actual underlying. So when I personally trade options, I have mental stops because what matters is the actual underlying and not the options chart itself. But yeah, that is, let's see, Apple. Yes, I trade the Qs. What name should I trade for relative strength and weakness? You can look at SPY. Can you share how you could size? Yeah, I'll maybe that's actually, I'm going to talk about that on my YouTube video for tomorrow. So that's going to be talking about kind of the setups, how I size for certain setups, the setups that I look for. Everything is going to be, and some of the trade examples as well. So that's going to be tomorrow's YouTube video. At least for now, I'm going to, Apple key levels, 207, 208 50s, 209 50s, and this 210. But yeah, that's going to be it for me today. I am going to get ready for market open. If you guys did enjoy that, appreciate if you guys drop me a like and sub. If you guys haven't joined the watch list, that one is in the description below. And I will see you guys all tomorrow morning. All right. Take care, everyone. Peace.